Meve was riding at the head of the caravan when Black Rayla rode up and leaned towards her. She spoke in a whisper, a hand shielding her mouth.
Your Grace, I've something important to tell you. Yet you can't show anything to miss. Look straight ahead. Make no sudden moves.
Meve nodded slightly and waited for her to continue.
Scoia'tael scouts in the woods, watching us. Eldain's near here somewhere, preparing his attack.
So what do you propose?
Asked the Queen, her gaze fixed on the road ahead.
Let him catch us out in the open. We're sitting ducks. But there are ruins nearby, an elven cemetery. We can find cover behind its walls.
Meve was accustomed to discussing important decisions with all her advisors, but she knew there was no time for consultation now. She had to trust Black Rayla's advice, and so without further delay issued the appropriate orders. Meve's retinue reached the cemetery before dusk. Her soldiers knocked down the marble statuary and piled them into barricades, while scouts took up positions outside the walls to watch for the foe's approach. When the sun set, the woods exhaled the heat of the day, and a thick fog soon arose. Out of the mist stepped Reynard's scouts, bound and pushed forward by elves. One of the Scoia'tael, a sturdy elf with long hair, stood by the cemetery wall and cried,
I am Eldain. I would speak to Meve.
I am she. Speak.
Cadmil and Caedva Gaenvid, Rayla. This place is of great import to us, the Enche. I would tell you of its monuments, of the weeping Ensevern, carved by 3 generations of sculptors, or of the alabaster relief of King Caedva, so beautiful even the birds would gather to admire it. But I see your men have found our memorials, and in the way of Dwan, destroyed them without a second thought. I cannot say this comes as a surprise. You've already shown the gods molded you from the basest of matter. You agreed to lynch an entire village, without trial.
Get to the point, Eldain.
So I shall. As you certainly know, the necropolis is surrounded. Soon, there shall be a battle. But it is unseemly to fight in a cemetery. So I ask you to come out into the open.
And surrender our tactical advantage.
I suspected a matter so impractical as respecting the dead would mean nothing to you, Dwan. So I submit one more argument. The lives of the soldiers you sent to spy. If you leave the cemetery, I shall set them free. They will fight at your side. If not, I shall kill them, here and now.
Milady, don't listen to him. He can't be trusted.
Rayla, those are good men. Fabian, Gerrit, Matthias, they've served me for a decade. They'd crawl through 7 hells for their queen. They do not deserve such a death.
I place a high value on my men's lives. Which is why I cannot risk my entire unit for a handful of soldiers.
Your Grace, please, consider.
I reject your offer, Eldain.
As you wish, Rayla. Squash me.
In a swift, almost careless movement, Eldain slit the throat of the scout standing nearest to him, then gave the order to attack.
Careful, stay alert. They're cowards all, and sure to have laid traps.
Watch your heads!
Ha ha! Prepare to fight, if you've any honor.
Special prize, just for you, love.
Bigger they are, easier they are to target.
Nay, there.and camest.
Thing about slings, they hide well.
None shall tread on us! Slaughter them to a man!
Greetings. What is it?
Now we will see who is weak. I shall not fail.
If anyone asks, you've not seen me.
You're there!
I was hoping you'd say that.
Your Grace, our soldiers. We could have spared them that death.
I fear not, for faith guides me.
Peace with humans? By thus!
Quick and painful this'll be.
After a long, bloody battle, Eldain's unit was destroyed, and Eldain himself sat at Meve's feet, defeated and dying.
To die in a cemetery. Something amusing in it, wouldn't you say?
I am surprised you are in the mood for humor.
All my tears I shed years ago. My family killed in a massacre aimed at eradicating our race. Senseless. Utterly senseless. Rayna, we have lost. Me, my Scoia'tael, the Shay. We shall vanish from this earth. Your grandchildren will know us in fairy tales only. Lay my bones to rest in a grave. Let me part this world with dignity. Ager Dregared.
Oh, please! How dare he? Look, he laughs, Your Grace! This dog should rot in an open field. Need I mention the willow? The men he strung from it? The men he burned alive?
So be it. I shall lay you in a tomb.
Your Grace! How can you justify this? A cutthroat, a murderer!
As are you, Rayla. As am I. For centuries we fight, kill one another, shed blood for bloodshed, attack and counterattack, each act more cruel and bloody than the last. The cycle ends now. What was done I cannot undo. But I can do this. Grant a dying soul dignity.
Thank you. Vathael, Rena.
Black Rayla stormed off, shoving her way through the gathered men. Meve paid her no heed. The soldiers laid Eldain's remains in an empty crypt. The rest of the Scoia'tael they buried in a pit near the edge of the woods. The next morning, at dawn's first light, the Lyrians marched off, eager to leave the Moulderwood behind.
At last. I'd begun to think this wood had no end.
And I thought bandits knew their way round a wood.
We do. Around those not brimming with elves armed to teeth.
You can try to win them all, but you won't.
Yes? I live to serve you. Can't take it anymore. Without hesitation. As you command.
Got any victuals? Hungry like a wolf I am.
You can try to win them all, but you won't.
Her Majesty knows what she's doing.
The burning fields and orchards spewed thick black smoke, turning day into darkest night. Riding in the middle of her caravan, Meve could see neither its head nor its rear. Reynard ordered the men to keep formation and march in silence.
Eyes open, fore and aft. The foe might well use these conditions to spring a trap.
When a scout's shrill horn cut through the silence, Meve immediately galloped to the front of the column. She found herself in a pile of red-hot coals that had once been peasants' huts.
What the devil happened here?
Bodies lay amid the ashes, barefoot men in nightshirts as if caught in their sleep. Meve deemed them yet more victims of the black-clad invaders, but Gascon had another interpretation.
Look at the arrows. Imperial issue. Not hardly. Nor are they the type the Scoia'tael favor. And the tracks in the mud, the attackers fought not in formation, but man to man. Bandits. It must have been.
Reynard, standing next to him, nodded in agreement.
Gascon can be relied on here. After all, he knows of what he speaks.
An uncomfortable silence fell over the group, ending only when Meve ordered the scouts to determine the direction of the bandits' tracks. They returned to report the killers were hiding somewhere to the north.
I'm going no further, and I'd advise you to do the same. Bandits took the fort to the north.
Was nearly home. Nearly with my dear wife. Go to Eldain, they said. You'll sell at a profit, they said. Was nearly home.
I'm going no further.
Another dead end. How the demons do I get out of here? How do I quit this place for good? Cursed land. Nothing but corpses and ash. Corpses and ash far as the eye can see. Smoke everywhere. Billows of it. Stings your eyes and scratches at your throat. Cursed land.
The ruins still smoulder. Nilfgaard Park's not long afore. They must be close.
No doubt they already knock at Aldersberg's gate. We must make haste.
Brave warriors. Fled so fast, didn't manage to pack. Beautiful sword. Not a scratch on it. Our army showed well in the parade. But when it came down to it, it's of no real use to me. Take it if you'd like. Left in the fields, it'll go to waste. Beautiful sword. Not a scratch on it.
One bullet's all I need. Give me a time.
It's gonna be a right good levy, big and beautiful.
marble is to your command. Armor won't say.
Stop your yapping and start digging.
Meve shook her head in disbelief as she surveyed the landscape before her. The Nilfgaardians had destroyed everything in their path. Burned farms, trampled fields, leveled orchards.
The bastards.
She hissed.
They mean to cause a famine.
When the Lyrians reached Braithwait, a small village near Aldersburg, they saw gaunt men and women, more bone than flesh, gnawing on acorns and boot leather. The invaders had requisitioned every scrap of the village's food stores and hauled it off to their nearby camp. In strained voices, the villagers begged the Queen to help them retrieve their supplies.
Milady, Frost'll come before we know it. Felt help us. Why not a soul will live to see the thaw?
Meve looked around at the blackened, scorched village, at the walking skeletons who dwelled in it. The suffocating smoke bellowing up from the fields sent tears streaming down her face.
I'll do what I can,
was all she said. She knew this was not the time for a rousing speech. She needed to act.
Milady, have mercy. We'll waste away and starve. Milady.